achieved.
Hey, everybody, what's up? Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to Studio Day Heffrey. Maybe you're watching this at night. Good evening. Welcome to Studio Day Heffrey. A little bit of a mailbag for you today, as I wanted to talk about the NFL playoffs, what the Cowboys can learn from some of the teams still playing, and, of course, a quick hitter on Jimmy Johnson, because Jimmy Johnson deserves a quick hitter. By the way, sign me up. If you missed it, Jimmy Johnson is being inducted into the Hall of Fame, Pro Football Hall of Fame, not the Ring of Honor. Wake up, Jerry. Hopefully that's coming, but I got the email from the Cowboys of the Jerry Jones statement on Jimmy getting into the Ring of Honor. Hold on, let me make sure I have the statement, and then I'll read you the statement, because it said plenty about how Jerry's crazy. Well, basically it said, man, Jimmy, congrats. We did a great job, and you were a great coach. He will never say you helped me build a Super Bowl winner. Never. Even when the dude's going in the Hall of Fame, it's like, I'm glad they're recognizing you for what you were, a great coach. And it was great that we got together to win Super Bowls. So I built it, but you were a great coach, and that's where Jimmy is. But the bigger thing is, sign me up for that giant dude. I don't know his name. I don't know if you guys have seen it when they give the news to Bill Cowher and to Jimmy Johnson that they made the Hall of Fame, and they got the president or whatever of the Hall of Fame, and he's just like this giant man, like, congratulations. And you get to watch the guys freak out and cry. Sign me up for that. And why is everybody making a big deal about them cutting to Troy and his eyes being red? His eyes are red for every game. He might not even been crying. It might have just been standard Troy. He might have just been sitting there looking. But Jimmy, Ring of Honor. Yes. I don't know how Jerry can go decades with, like, for a guy who understands marketing and understands pleasing your fan base so well. I don't know how he can just, well, I do know, it's ego. That's how it goes. We all have an ego of some sort, and Jerry's is big enough that he just can't even envision. Like, well, no, not if Jimmy is pretending that he was the guy who built the Super Bowl winners. Well, he's lying, and if he's a liar, he can't go in the Ring of Honor, for crying out loud. So get it right, Jerry. Jimmy already got it right. Get it right, Jerry. Get Jimmy up in the ring, for crying out loud. You got room. We've been in the stadium. We look around. There's room up there. Put that man in the Ring of Honor. He deserves it. Hurry up. Okay. Other things I want to talk about. And in today's video, you can leave a comment with what you'd like the next video to be about, or if you have a question for the next mailbag, you can leave those in the comments right there on the YouTube page. But I do have a bunch of questions from people who have things they want me to talk about. And one of my favorites is my guy C. White on Twitter. He said, thoughts on Titans running the ball to the AFC Championship, considering you want to pass 100 times a game. This is fun to me. A lot of people get angry about this. This is fun to me. The Titans ran the ball a bunch, and Derrick Henry was a monster. You guys got to stop misconstruing my words about running the football. Run the football's fine. If you run it well, shoot, run it. It's great. Have a good time. Derrick Henry's getting 6.5 a carry, and you hand it to him 30 times? Cool. But if he's getting 2.5, stop handing him the ball. The Titans, this is going to sound crazy, because once again, they barely threw the ball because they were winning. That bomb touchdown that Tannehill threw, the touchdown to Jonnu Smith, that was a great catch. You're going to pretend that wasn't part of winning? You're going to pretend the guy who carried the ball a bunch for almost 200 yards and didn't score was the biggest part of winning? And it's like, yeah, he really, that's helpful. I want the team to be able to run the ball. And if you can run it for 6.5 a pop, well, shoot, we run a bunch. That's fine. No problem with that. The goal is to get first downs and to score points. Derrick Henry helped them to get first downs. Ryan Tannehill and the defense scored points. So even that sounds like I'm taking shots at the running game. And I don't mean to. You just have to acknowledge the most important plays are the ones that put the points on the board. So that actually ties in to the next question from my guy Eric on Twitter. He said, were Baltimore's fourth down attempts misguided? No. They were who they were. So Baltimore, 14-2. I thought John Harbaugh said it great after the game. You're 14-2, and to the running crowd, that's the best running team in the history of football. the Baltimore Ravens, because of Lamar, but that's the best running team in the history of football. Why'd they throw it 50 times? Is it, they lost because they threw it 50 times? No. They were losing, so they threw. So all this stuff, when people are talking about, you got to run the ball 30 times, that's how the Titans won. No. They ran the ball 30 times because they were winning. Why did Baltimore throw it 50 times? Not because Baltimore's plan is to go 3 wide and sling it around. They threw it 50 times because they were losing, and they had to score in a hurry. So you can't use, when people, it drives me nuts when people use, the guys with the most passing yards didn't make the postseason, and the guys with the most rushing yards did make the postseason. The guys with the most rushing yards were winning, and the guys with the most passing yards were losing. Jameis was throwing 100 picks. Of course he threw for 5,000 yards. He had to throw it on every play because that team's bad and they're behind all the time. They're trying to catch up. The Cowboys, they ended up behind a lot and by a lot, and so they threw a lot. They'd love to spend the third and fourth quarter running the ball. Everybody would. I'd love to be up by 17 points and be able to get 5 yards. If you can get up and average 5 or more yards a carry, shoot, bang it away. Run that ball. My only thing about running backs is don't pay them. Even Derrick Henry, he's played great. He's freaking awesome. Don't give him $15 million a year because you can find a guy to do it again. Just grab the next Alabama guy. Najee Harris is a stud. Just grab him. He can do the same thing. Well, not the same thing, but close to the same thing. So that's the thing about running the football is I'm tired of having my words misconstrued, although I'm realizing as I'm speaking that my words are still kind of negative about the run game. And I don't mean to be. Just don't pay a running back. And if you're not successfully running the ball, chill out with running the ball. And stop pretending that because a team had a bunch of carries, that led to them winning. You're doing it backwards. The team that's winning gets to hand the ball off while the other team has to throw it a bunch because they're trying to catch up. That's how it works. What are you doing, Stomp? You found a ball? I think Stomp found a ball. Hey, girl. Nice to see you. Let's see. What other questions did we have today? Cameron with a random one. Did you ever finish and go through with updating your wardrobe from like a year or two ago? That's an interesting question. No. I had a coat last year. I used to have a coat, but, stop. That's a baseball. That is not a toy. If you guys heard that hit the ground, that's my dog thinking that a baseball is something that we're going to play fetch with. No, my wardrobe is terrible. As you can see, I have a pullover. I have a hoodie somewhere. And I have 2 pair of jeans. But I do have some shirts with buttons now. So I have made great progress. I have loafers. I have a pair of loafers somewhere. I don't know where they are. And I lost my coat. Last year I had a coat. This year I don't know where my coat is. Chandler, is the revolving door of quarterback coaches around Dak being overhyped to how much a matter it actually is? Or is it something we really need to pay attention to? I hate that John Kitna's not coming back, but I know that the players like Nussmeier. I think Dak has a good relation with Doug Nussmeier. And Mike McCarthy's probably really going to be the QB coach. So this is how it goes. You know, you're going to have names that you're like, oh, man, I wish that coach stuck around. I like Mark Colombo. I think he's good at his job. I wish he stuck around. But if you hired a new head coach, I've got to stay with what I started off with, which was if he gets to hire his own staff, then I'll know that he's in charge. If he doesn't get to hire his own staff, then I'll know that Jerry is messing with things. So the fact that I think Dak would like to keep John Kitna. I think the Joneses would have liked to keep Mark Colombo, but they empowered their new head coach, and I can't get mad at that because that's exactly what I've always wanted them to do, and now they've done it, so I'm not allowed to get angry at that thing. From Eric, he just says draft stuff. I'm about to go back and watch some more guys here before the show starts on 105.3 The Fan, and I've watched a couple of the safeties, Grant Delpit and Xavier McKinney, Alabama. I'll take Delpit over McKinney, but they're both a lot of fun. McKinney's more of a sure tackler and he'll hit you. And Delpit's not afraid to hit you, but he did miss a bunch of tackles, partially because of a shoulder, partially because of an ankle. Maybe he was protecting himself. But I value the turnovers, and I think Grant Delpit gives you a better chance at turnovers. It's the LSU safety if you want to watch him. Christian Fulton, the LSU corner, I watched him too. That might work at 17, but I'll work through a bunch more guys, and maybe I'll post videos of individual players and profiles. Not sure if it's too early. This is from Adam or not, but what about outside free agents the Cowboys should target? They have a ton of their own guys they got to deal with before they can even think about that. You got to figure out how much money are you going to have. If you missed the show yesterday, every team in the AFC, the teams with the rookie deal quarterbacks, every team in the AFC has at least 11, and most of them have 13 guys that make between $2 and $5 million. Because you got rookie deal quarterback. So you're middle class. You got a bunch of, iffy veterans. Well, a lot of them are actually into their rookie deal guys that are studs. And then some of them are veterans to plug holes. The Cowboys going into next year are going to have two guys in that salary range, Chris Jones and Leighton Vander Esch. Because their rookie classes recently aren't turning into what you'd like. Gallup, of course, is. Hopefully Vander Esch is. And all their veteran contracts are up. They got money. They're not going to get killed by the cap this year. But next year will be very, very interesting in what they're going to do to be under the cap, especially if they pay Dak and Amari and maybe Byron and maybe Quinn. So we'll see. They got a lot of work to do with their own roster before they can think about outside guys. Okay, everybody, make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube page. Make sure you're checking 1053thefan.com every day. Leave in the comments what you'd like to see in the next video. And salute to Jimmy Johnson. Welcome to the Hall of Fame. Maybe the Ring of Honor one day. Charles Haley's in the Ring of Honor. Him and Dion were mercenaries. You snatched them from other teams to go sneak out some Super Bowls. And I'm not saying they don't deserve it, but if the mercenaries deserve it, the architect and the coach probably deserves it, Jerry. That's it. I'll see you guys later on. Here's your wink.